is our self-paced and self-serve resources. And I will pop the link for that in the chat so that you can have it. It went with the communication about this, so you should have it. And everything that I'm going to show is going to be on this page. So don't worry about the links. If Erin can, she will post the links to these individual resources as we go along. But all of the links that we're showing to you today will be on this page, since this is the focus of this talk. We've pulled together and updated and added new things to our collection of self-paced and self-serve resources. If you've been to any of these chats before, you know that I have done a whole one on the Interested in Online Teaching self-paced course that I just want to mention to anyone who might not be familiar with this particular resource. It is set up in a simple website, but it is intended as a self-paced course. And so you can see from the links, the navigation links, that there are 3 modules: landscape, competencies, and effective practices. And each module has a similar structure, and there's a little quiz at the end of each module. And so this is a good way to introduce anyone really who wants to learn more about what it means to teach online. They can come and do this course at their own pace independently. It's designed that way. There's some optional interaction, and there's a badge that you can earn. Associated with this course is our Ready to Teach Online resource, and this is also a collection of self-paced inventories that you can take to see if you have the prerequisite skills, knowledge, and attitudes to begin to think about teaching online. And so this is a good resource too. It's interspersed with some videos in addition to those inventories, and you have a way where you can kind of check off what you have reviewed in this web environment. And so this is a really good resource that's a companion resource, kind of a prerequisite to the Interested in Teaching Online self-paced course. For our SUNY, our internal SUNY audience, you may not be aware, or you may be aware, that we have a collection of exemplar online courses for observation. You do have to have a SUNY authentication in order to get into these courses. They are in Blackboard also, but they are in a variety of disciplines and are here with the permission, obviously, of the instructor. There's no student interaction in these courses. It's really just the instructional design of the course, so that new online faculty or instructional designers can get a sense of the different ways that different disciplines are approached, different types of activities are approached in terms of their online instructional design, to give sort of a sense of the wide variety and flavors of approaches and instructors and activities that we have. And so it's a really good resource either for instructors looking for ideas, or for instructional designers who want to show things to their online faculty or mine them for their for themselves, for their own ideas as well. So just want to remind people that this resource is here. And again, it's a SUNY, it's internal to SUNY only, this particular one. With everything that has happened recently in the last couple of months, we have developed a number of resources associated or sort of inspired by the pivot to remote or flexible teaching as a result of the pandemic. And so one of the resources that I have begun working on is this decision tree to assist instructional designers and faculty think through what mode of teaching might be best suited to their particular circumstance, context, discipline, pedagogical, individual needs, and so forth. And so I'd invite you to come here and take a look. This is in draft, and it really is like a wireframe that hopefully someday I'll be able to get into a different platform that's more interactive. But this, if you follow each of the decisions, sort of each of the questions, the first question, for example, is ask aspects of my course require that students come to campus physically, and then it proceeds down the line and ends up in, you know, either yes, they actually have to come physically for some reason, and then the type of course might be blended, a blended course that blends face-to-face and online, or it might be that it has to be a fully face-to-face course. And then it progresses from there. It asks about interaction between students and with students. It asks about whether or not the course is kind of a demonstration course in nature. It asks about the use of tests for evaluation. It asks about whether or not the course has small group work that's incorporated. So all of these different things then, you know, will lead to helping the instructor and the instructional designer, if they're working with one, figure out what the best modality of the course might be. And those modes are, perhaps it is a primarily synchronous online course where you use Zoom or Collaborate, for example, or perhaps it is a blended one that blends some face-to-face on-campus activities with some sort of online, or perhaps it can be a fully online course. And so, so this is just a tool to help folks think through some of those questions and issues to help come up with the best decision for that instructor, that course, that discipline. I also developed a checklist for remote and flexible teaching. You may also be aware of this. I think I did a webinar on this the other day, last month, I think it was, and this one you know, helps instructional designers and faculty sort of think through you know, the issues and the topics and the areas that they should be attending to, paying attention to as they're thinking about pivoting from a traditionally face-to-face course to something that is you know, online in some way or another. And so there are a lot of resources here. You could spend a whole day just going through and following the little breadcrumbs of links. And I am hoping that you will at some point come and check these out. One of the resources I want to make sure to point out that you get to from that checklist is these discipline-specific resources. And so again, we have those courses for observation I showed. If you're internal to SUNY, we have some workspace groups that you can join. We also have some publicly accessible Google Docs that would help you know, folks in specific disciplines kind of look for resources that are specific to the discipline. So we have some, for example, I can show, I'll do the visual and performing arts one. It's just a plain Google Doc, and it's open to anyone. So if you are in that discipline and have some suggested links that are specific to a particular area, like music, for example, or studio arts, or museum studies, then you can come and put your resources here, add them to this collaborative document, or mine the resources that are here for your own particular purposes. The other series of things that I have put together specifically during this time are a series of templates that are available from that initial web page. You can actually download the Blackboard zip file and import it into your own Blackboard system, and you can do that, or you can have your instructional designer or your tech person take a look at it and see what they think and help you with it. They are free and openly licensed. The zip files are there for anyone to download. There's a little guide that comes with it to help you understand how this map here on the left-hand side is set up, because it's set up manually. And I just, they open up. I'm going to go give you a little tour of these templates. They start on a Start Here page and have sort of the course information that's necessary for getting started. Then we have this particular one, you can see is set up for, it's a primarily synchronous template using Zoom. So all of the instructions and all of the way that the course is designed, the template is designed, is to support a primarily synchronous online course that uses Zoom for the synchronous component of the course. So you'll see there is a Zoom room and a space here to put the link to your Zoom room where you'll put your recorded sessions, and then some expectations for the students for using Zoom. We have, all the help links go straight over to Zoom. The syllabus and course information area is, again, designed specifically for a primarily synchronous course using Zoom. So you'll see that these are set up, the course schedule, for example, is set up in a weekly structure, and it has the Zoom meeting time, so that it's just a template to help faculty set that up. There's some additional Zoom specific documentation and materials. There's some netiquette and plagiarism. These are sort of boilerplate pieces that we think should be in the course. Of course, everything here is editable and deletable and customizable. So if it doesn't pertain or apply, you can just get rid of it. It's really intended, these templates are just intended to help quick start campuses or instructional designers or faculty get quick started into a well-designed course for the particular mode of online teaching that they are hoping to carry out. The syllabus and this is again the course schedule. The course is designed into weekly folders, and if you look within one of the weekly folders, you sort of have a template for how you should lay out your information for the weekly folder. And then I put in two discussions. One is an ice-breaking discussion, and then the other one is a student lounge, all with sort of templated instructions that are customizable and changeable or deletable, however you would like to work with them. They're just there so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel if you want to use them. There's also, if you look in this template down towards the bottom, there are help resources that the campus could replace with their own links to those resources. There are tech resources for the students. There are faculty resources for the faculty. Here I'm in the faculty page, and within this page there are additional links and resources. And if you look in the how-to link, there are a number of resources for the instructor to review. This is specifically about teaching remotely and some differences between synchronous, asynchronous, and blended. Some links about communicating with your online students, about how to present and distribute materials. Some resources about types of activities. How to collect and edit assignments if you're doing that electronically, some information about assessments and grading, and then some additional resources. So there's a lot of stuff here for the faculty to review just in time when they need it or at their leisure. The other template that I want to show you is the same exact template as that one, only it's built for Collaborate. So if you're not using Zoom for your synchronous component components. This one uses Collaborate, and so you'll see there's a Collaborate room with stuff that's specific, instructions and help that's specific to Collaborate. In the syllabus and information, there's information specifically about using Collaborate, so it's just the exact same template that I just reviewed, only set up for using Collaborate Ultra. And if you look here in the help resources, the tech resources for students are Collaborate focused, and the links for the faculty are also Blackboard and Collaborate specific. The next template that I have here that is part of this collection is designed for blended or hybrid teaching and learning. And so again, this is the first two I showed you were for primarily synchronous online modes. This one is blended, and so it combines and assumes a face-to-face component and some sort of online component. And the online component could be fully online, or it could be synchronous, or it could be a combination of both. So this particular template, I would recommend that an instructional designer download and take a look at, and customize. So if you're not using synchronous activities as part of your blended solution, then you would rip out all of the synchronous documentation. If you are using Zoom, you could, that's in here, and so you could eliminate the Collaborate. So I kind of built it as a one, everything is in it, and you would go in and take out the bits that that you aren't going to make use of. So, but again, the mode is intended for a blended or hybrid course that combines a face-to-face component with an online component, and that online component could be either synchronous or asynchronous. So for this one, let me just see. You'll see that you'll see some differences in the course information area. So for example, there's a little bit more in terms of how students will be evaluated. The course schedule has both modules and weeks incorporated. There's also a column in the table that talks about the mode for that particular module and week. So if that's the week they come to campus, that would be defined here. If it's the week that they're online, that information would be here, and so forth. So again, the way that I've done it is, if you're not using Zoom, you would get rid of this particular piece of content and so forth. In the About area, there is information for students about how, what blended and hybrid learning is all about, and some instructions on, kind of navigating and using the course. And the module structure of the course, again, is here, and is set up, with some consistency, or so that the instructor can have some consistency module to module. And then, of course, there is finally the asynchronous or fully online version of these templates. This one is set up to be primarily a fully online template, or classic online teaching and learning, where there are no required synchronous components, no required visits to the campus. And so all of the materials and documentation are set up with that in mind. So for example, if you look at the syllabus page, you'll see that, again, we have a course structure that is module focused and designed to support a fully online teaching and learning experience. And again, let's see, here's another one that shows some of the differences. This is the page that talks about, the fully online nature of the course, online expectations for students, the help resources, again, for faculty and for students. are specific to a fully online experience. So that's the templates that are available again for download. The zip files for these templates are downloadable from that initial page. I want to mention that I am currently working with a couple of campuses to get these templates into Brightspace, Canvas, and Moodle. And we'll have these same templates available for download in those other learning management systems at some point in the future. We're in the process of working on that right now. I want to mention Keith Landa from Purchase and Shirley Sinecor from, oh my gosh, sorry, Shirley Sullivan. And who else was I talking to? Oh, I was actually talking to a friend up at Skidmore who was interested in helping getting them into a different learning management system. So we're working on getting the templates into different learning management systems so that they would be also downloadable from there. The common cartridge files are also available for download. So if you don't want to wait for us to get them into those different learning management systems, you could go do it now, I think, with those common cartridges. So those are also available from the that main self-paced and self-serve resource. A couple of additional resources that I wanted to mention. You know, historically, we have been working in the area of online teaching and learning for more than 25 years. So we have a lot of information, a lot of resources, and a lot of knowledge from our community, and having been developed in the online teaching unit over the years, specifically for fully online teaching and learning. And so this is a new resource that I pulled together that kind of walks you through you know, a lot of the information and best practices and resources that we have specific to fully online teaching and learning. We have available for download a self-paced Blackboard course that is intended for those new to online learning. We call it N2OL. And so this is available for you to download and customize, play around with, rip out whatever you want. You know, it's just a starting point if you want to do a self-paced new to online learning course. Now, the mode that it is talking about is fully online. So if you're doing blended or primarily synchronous online learning, this would not be the tool to use, or you could start there and then customize it for that. But I just want to make sure that you understand and are aware that this was designed for fully online, for faculty who are going to teach fully online or develop a fully online course. And then the handbook that goes with that course is also available for download if you are interested in it. And so that's available too. And then, of course, I always want to mention Oscar, which is our online course quality rubric that helps instructional designers or faculty actually understand in a kind of organized rubric kind of way what some best practices are regarding all these different categories of things: the course overview and information, the technology, the design and layout, the activities, the interaction and assessment and feedback. It goes through 50 standards related to best practices in online teaching and learning, and each standard has its own page with a little mini learning video with ideas on how you can refresh your course with some of these ideas that address this standard. Always we have some additional information and related resources and the ability to give us suggestions or ask questions and interact on any of the standards. So want to make sure to point all of that out to you. We do a whole other webinar just on this particular resource as well. And so that, in a nutshell, is the resources that I had hoped to share with you today. So I'm going to check with Erin on questions from the group. What have we got, Erin?
So a lot of comments, which is really great. There was a question about how to actually import the cartridges. So I provided a Blackboard link to the step-by-step to how to do that, but that might be something, as was suggested, that we incorporate in that template guide. You know, just the step one is to import the file, but not everybody knows how to do that. So we could provide that help link. So that was a good suggestion. And then a question about Zoom. Let me back up. Is Zoom available to all SUNY faculty, or is access depending on the particular campus? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you should check with your campus to see what it is that they have standardized on or that they want faculty to use. I think that varies across the SUNY landscape. Some campuses are definitely using Collaborate Ultra and some are using Zoom. So I would check. And in fact, on this page, right where I am, I have a link to the resources for your SUNY campus. And so if you're not sure what they're doing, you can actually go to our COVID site and find out. Oh, Erin, that link's not working. Why is that link not working?
I just put the link that, I just put it in there. It looks like yours might, for some reason, be missing a slash. I don't know why.
All right, well, I'll
that's
fix
weird.
that.
Yeah.
I will fix that on the web page, but this is the link, and you can go and find your campus. So if you're from Adirondack, you can come and see what the Adirondack specific information is, and within here somewhere it'll let you know either who to talk to or what your campus has standardized on. Okay, so what else have we got here?
Sure. So there's another comment and question. So it looks like Xana has done all of their grading and assignments on Blackboard in the past and intends on doing synchronous class times. Would you recommend I do something different than what I've done in the past? So I'm thinking in light of remote teaching or in the transition. Let's see.
She's done all her grading and assignments on Blackboard, and she intends on doing synchronous class times, something different than you've done in the past. So that's hard to say without knowing a little bit more about your course and your context. Since you are already doing the assignments online and you're going to be doing synchronous classes, that you could do a combination of those. I talked to your instructional designer on your campus and maybe look through some of the documentation that we have posted to maybe give you some ideas about alternatives. But it sounds like you're already doing them online, and if they are working well for you, you might want to just talk that over with your instructional designer. There was a question about WebEx and the guide and whether or not we're going to be doing a template for WebEx. That's a great question. Lynn, what campus are you from that's using WebEx? While she's maybe letting us know what campus, Jean was talking about HighFlex. So one of the things that I thought about when I was designing the blended learning template was that the blended template could be adapted for a HighFlex design, a HighFlex course design, because HighFlex, the definition of HighFlex is that the students are able to choose at any moment, any week, any module, however it is that you define it, whether they come to the campus, whether they do it synchronously online, or whether they do it fully online. So it is the one that has the most maximum flexibility from the student perspective. In terms of the design of the course, there are very specific considerations and complexities. And so I would really talk to your campus instructional design support folks if you're going to design a HighFlex course. And I would say that template, the blended hybrid template, I actually designed thinking that someone might be able to use that to support a high flex design. So there's pieces of it in there that would support a high flex design. There are additional pieces that would be required to be added to that template in order to support a high flex design. All right, so what else have we got? Do campus-specific instructional designers interact with SUNY Online? So sure, I mean, we sit at the system level, and every campus has their own, or most campuses have their own online teaching and learning unit, and that might be staffed in a variety of ways, but I believe at this point in time, most SUNY campuses, if not all, have someone who is in that role of instructional designer, and we meet. We have a community meeting every month that Erin leads, and we have community activities like this one, and an annual conference that typically happens in February. We have workspaces for online networking. We have resources and websites that we share. We provide services and support for campuses who want to opt into those services and supports from the central office. So it really depends on what the campus needs and where they are. Many of our campuses are very self-sufficient and yet still engage and participate in a very enthusiastic way in our community. We are a big community, a big institution in terms of, system. There's a lot of campuses and a lot of folks doing really amazing work in online teaching and learning. What else have we got, Erin? What am I missing?
Just a suggestion about their campuses considering Respondus for the lockdown browser. Is that preferred as an anti-cheating tool compared to ProctorU?
Yeah, I'm the wrong person to ask about this question. If I know that there are some campuses that are using online proctoring tools. I would, from my personal online teaching experience and perspective, I would find alternatives to proctoring, but I do know that there are some courses and some disciplines that require certifications and that kind of oversight, and so I'd have to defer to your campus to what it is that they are using and how they're rolling it out and implementing it and what their best practices with it would be. I don't have any experience with those tools.
Do you see Abby's question?
I do. I
Okay.
see your question, Abby. And, I'm not sure about that. I would want to check with the individual instructor to see if that would be okay with them. We do have permission from those instructors, just so that you know, to share their courses within SUNY. And in fact, they are presented as models and exemplars for faculty to mine for ideas and even adopt or adapt instructional language, right? Not the disciplinary content, but the instructional approaches, instructional language. And so the assumption is that faculty are going to use those as models. Whether or not the instructor would be okay with sharing that outside of SUNY, I would do on a case-by-case basis. So Abby, if you are interested in a particular course, like in the math area, I would assume, let's talk offline, and we can get the contact information from those instructors and ask them. I would suspect that they would be willing and okay with that. Anything else?
It looks like we've addressed all the questions, and we're a little bit over time. So I'll just thank everyone for your attendance. I did put our contact information and our YouTube channel in the chat so that you can access all of that. And, reach out to us if you have questions. We're happy to help. We know that this is a lot of information, and as you sort of digest it, you may have some questions. So
I
thank
want
you.
to thank you all for coming. I'm going to stay and hang out a little bit. So if you have, some burning question that you want to chat about, I will be willing to stay here and chat with you for a while. This is my lunch hour, so I can be here for, the next half hour. Thank you all for coming. Let me know if you have any questions. Let's continue the conversation. If you are not yet a friend of SUNY or in one of the SUNY fellow roles, I invite you to join. I invite you to join our workplace group, which is our online interaction site. We also have one that's open to anyone outside, internal to SUNY and outside of SUNY. I'd welcome your continued interaction and engagement. And I hope to see you at our next webinar. We do these periodically, and we put out the information in our various spaces. And so if you're interested in this one, you might be interested in the next one. Do we have one planned, Darren, or not yet?
The schedule will be coming out for the begin again in September.
Oh, awesome. All right, great. So stay tuned. All right.